here, huh? It's just 37,000 miles of pristine, beautiful beach, mate. Did you know that Australia makes some of the finest wines in the entire world? No, I didn't know that.
Oh, that's awesome. But what do you think about your watches? Because I heard they're pretty good. What? That's it. I'm going to ask your father. So, what do you think about Australian-made watches? What's up, guys? It's your boy Rich here, back at it again. And since we couldn't get a proper response from neither Crocodile Dundee nor his son, what do you say we go find out for ourselves? Let's go check out Melbourne Watch Company's Portsea. And here it is, the watch from down under, Melbourne Watch Company's Portsea. And it is a very pretty watch. Let's start with the dimensions. It is a wonderful 40 millimeters with 48 millimeters lug to lug, a 20 meter lug width here, and 13 millimeters thick, which is where I want to start, because on paper, the specs for 13 millimeters would make it seem like a really thick, a really chunky watch. But it works perfectly on this 40 millimeter watch. It kind of reminds me of IWC Portuguese, which it has a really great stance on the wrist. This is a very versatile watch, so this is not a pure dress watch, so it can be worn nicely with a suit. So I think that 13 millimeters thickness works perfectly with this watch. And if there is one word to describe the Portsea other than quality, that word would have to be consistency. Let's start with the dial on this watch, the multi-layers, which is what their website also indicates. It's a really fun looking watch here. Let's start with the top layer on here is with the minute track, and then the next layer is with the 12, 1, 2, 3, the hour times right there, and then another layer where it says Melbourne Watch Company in Portsea, and there's another deep layer for the date right there. We're at the 6 o'clock. It is multi-layered, and the ceramic portion on the dial, which is a really nice luxurious touch, is right on around the hours, and it curves into the day and months. And ceramic has that unmistakable, really milky, smooth finish on there that we can't get from steel or aluminum. It's just a really nice touch with that ceramic. You can probably tell the ceramic parts right there. It's a darker part of the dial. And then the consistency part extends onto the side of the watch. Okay, here's one layer here, and then another layer to the case, another layer that sits right here, and the crystal is actually a little bit domed. Okay, fair enough. But the fun detail that I'm talking about is on the lugs. Can you see it right here? It's actually raised. It gives it another dimension of layering on the watch, just like the dial. So you can see the layerings, the raised lugs that I'm talking about. You can see them right there, I hope. It's just a really nice touch. It's really they're really consistent with their layerings. And since we're here right on the crown, this crown sets the time in one direction, and then the opposite direction sets the date. And if you're wondering what this really flat crown is right here, this sets the month. So you just put in a safety pin or your tool bar that you use to change the straps, and that easily sets the month. Now let's take a look at the back of the watch right here. This is a beautifully done work of art with this pressing here. It's just fabulous with this brushed work in there. And in the middle, right across here, you can see where it says Melbourne Watch Company. That is a little bit harder to read than the rest of the details on the watch. I wouldn't mind if that was actually more prominent, because this is a beautiful, beautiful case back with all the information. And here's the box that it comes with. Why am I showing this box? Well, it's a nice box. First of all, it's got the push here that opens, and you got your warranty and information here. It's a really nice compact size box for this watch. So then for those of us who don't use a watch winder, this doesn't take up a lot of real estate on our dresser. That's why I do like the size of this watch. But what I want to show you is the details here. Where it says M for the logo, it looks like the hour hands right here is kind of integrated into the M. Okay, that's pretty cool, but it's not mind-blowing because it's on the box, and it should be kind of have a really nice presence. But that also, why I'm impressed by that, is that it also extends on the buckle. First of all, the buckle has a really nice, unique shape. But on the M here, right there where it says M, trying to see if it's getting into focus here, that same hour hand also integrates here. You're going to have to trust me that it's there. Camera's a little out of focus. try to get a better angle of it. But it's there. Now, this is the kind of detail that we don't get from even a lot of the big boys. They are just so consistent with their details here by MWC. And that's another name that I like, MWC. It just has a really cool ring to it, a lot like IWC for International Watch Company. Oh, what kind of watch is that? Oh, it's an MWC, Melbourne Watch Company. It just has a really cool, really proud name for us to say. So I think it has everything going for it. This is a very, very sharp watch. Now, I just got done singing its praises on the watch, but there's one kind of detail for someone like me who really geeks out on the details, is the text. Here, you can notice where it says Melbourne Watch Company, Portsea. It is very crispy, perfectly done, right? Perfectly legible. But the days of the week there on the left, and then on the months right there on the right, they seem to be not as crispy for some reason. They are perfectly legible, as you can see, but it just looks a tad more opaque than where it says Melbourne Watch Company and Portsea. And I'm not sure why that is, because ironically, those are closer to the crystal than Melbourne Watch Company and Portsea are. Though it is very legible, but it is just something worth pointing out that most of us probably wouldn't notice. It also has a nice M on the second hand right there, where it's also part of the logo really moving. And on the white dial, that is all blued, so it's going to be a lot easier to see. So let's talk about the strap here. It is a beautiful piece of leather here. You can tell it is expensive. It is not a cheap, thin, flimsy piece of leather here. This is a high quality strap, and though it looks like it is an alligator strap, I don't think it's actually genuine alligator. I think it might be embossed or stamped, because it doesn't indicate that it's genuine alligator. It does say that it's genuine leather, of course. And here it says the Melbourne Watch Company branding on here. And you guys probably noticed that this is actually lined in rubber, which I really like. This reminds me of a lot of Zenith and how they line their straps with rubber, because it extends the life of the strap from our sweat and oils and crease marks. So that is a really nice touch. You know, I'm trying to be as professional as I can here, but this watch is just really sharp. Not only does it look expensive, but it feels expensive. The moment we take it out of the box, we notice the heft of this watch. This is not a feather light watch. This has a nice heft to it. It's got a great feel to it with its 316 steel. Everything about this watch seems to be first class. So let's talk about the different color options here. This dial is in blue, but it also comes in white and black. And in addition to the steel casing, they also offer a bronze case with a white dial and a gold tone case also in a white dial. And you can notice that the blued hands on the white dial is a lot more than you can on the blue or the black dial. The Portsea is powered by the Miyota 9122, which is a nice choice for this triple calendar. And for those of us who aren't familiar with the Miyota movement, it is a Japanese movement, a quality Japanese movement owned by the giant Citizen Watch Group. It beats at 28,800 and it has 40 hours of power reserve. The price for this watch is $650 US, but I know that if you join their mailing list, you get an additional 10% off. And at the time of this filming, they were offering an additional 20% off. But by the time this episode airs, I'm not sure if that offer will continue. But either way, either with a 10% off or 20% off, it still brings the cost of this watch to below $600 US, which is a really great value. I know we use that blanket statement a lot. Oh, it's a great bang for buck or a lot of watch for the money. But that actually applies to this watch, and that should only be reserved for watches such as this, or specifically for this, because this is a lot of watch for the money. This is a beautiful, beautiful watch inside and out. Let's touch on who MWC or the Melbourne Watch Company is. They burst onto the scene in 2013 as a crowd-funded watch, with their first watch being the Flinders. And ever since then, they have come up with some new designs, including the Portsea. But where MWC really shines, where they've distinguished themselves from the rest of the micro-brand lot, is they've actually listened to our feedback beyond the designs of the watches. Because one of our criticisms or fears about a microbrand is, as much as we want to support them, we're not able to see or handle those watches in person. And yet we're quick to come to their defense by justifying not having a showroom, because that would defeat the lower prices and the purpose of a microbrand. But MWC actually opened their showroom. Granted, it's in Australia, but that's where it should be. And if we happen to be on vacation or live in Australia, What a great destination that would be. And by opening the showroom, they didn't actually increase the prices of their watches. And according to their website, while we get to peruse their watches and chill in their lounge, we are also served free coffee and tea. And for those of you who follow me, you know I am a coffee addict. What a great way to spend an afternoon. So why is having a showroom in Australia important, especially for those of us who realize we will never make it to Australia? Well, the answer is simple, because it instantly gives MWC credibility, and it makes us feel really confident and comfortable knowing there is a showroom. Because if a watch company knew their watches were crap and would break down in 2 months, they would never invest in a showroom allowing us to inspect their watches, because that would spread like wildfire on social media. That would be suicide. And sadly, for those of us who realize we will never make it down under, I guess we will have to continue to rely on watch mediums, such as right here with yo boy What's on the Wrist. And see this? This is a Cub Scout salute. We were sworn never to lie, and I've taken that pledge. So it is easy for me to recommend the Portsea. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you the next time. So see this? This is a Cub Scout salute. Oh gosh, it's been so long. Cub Scout salute. We were sworn never to lie, and I've taken that pledge. And according to their website, and where MWC really shines, where they really separate, where they really distinguish themselves, where they